Voss. I have been working as a business coach in the German startup scene for over 70 years. I've founded 8 companies and I have been teaching entrepreneurship in my workshops and programs for students, as well as founders and established companies around the world for more than 7 years. I'm very happy to welcome you in this webinar to give you an overview about the 2-Path 1 Goal and how you can participate in the business plan competition Berlin-Brandenburg, which is the biggest business plan competition in Germany. The first possibility, the business plan, is a proven step-by-step method you apply to create a business plan according to the 3 stages of submission. The second possibility, business plan canvas, is a model you can use to illustrate your entire business model on one sheet of paper and submit a final version at each stage of the business plan competition. 2 paths which pursue one goal, developing great business models. So, in our webinar, we outlined the different sections of the business plan and the key components of the business model canvas. We also touch upon the key aspects of sustainability. We also provide a submission checklist, our conditions for participation, and plenty of useful tips. In our upcoming webinars about the canvas and the business plan, you can learn in more detail how to fulfill the requirements at the specific stages in the competition. And please use our resources online, like the handbook or the calendar, in which you can find more helpful events, seminars, and workshops. And you can download the handbook for free on our homepage. Let's jump directly into the topics. The competition has 3 stages or cycles, as you can see on this slide. In every one of these 3 stages of the competition, we honor the business plan and canvases with a total of over 50,000 euros in prize money. You can enter with a business plan or business model canvas. As you all can see here on this slide, we have also a special award for sustainability at the 3rd stage of the competition with a prize money of 5,000 euros. Let's go more into the details of this structure. You can participate at any time, any stage or cycle, and it's up to you if you like to create a canvas or a business plan. When you decide to submit a canvas, then, no matter in which cycle, you have to complete and submit a full canvas model. That means overview and explanations of the 9 segments and approximately 1 to 2 pages each. That's overall 10 to 80 pages, more or less. When you decide to submit a business plan, then you have to complete and submit the required chapters of the stage you want to participate in, which means that you have to deliver in stage 1, for instance, the topics summary, product / service, and founders. Overall, that's 6 to 13 pages. And in stage 2, the chapters summary, product, service, founders, and in addition to that, market analysis and marketing. That would be a total of 10 to 25 pages, and so on. At the end of each competition phase, 2 jurors evaluate your concept. You receive feedback based on defined criteria, and we go through this criteria in a few minutes. And you have the chance to win prize money in each phase. But the real value of the competition is not winning prize money, but rather to get in touch with important players in the scene like bankers, advisors, and like-minded people, right? So please don't feel sad or angry if you don't win any money at the competition, okay? The BPW supports you right from the start in the creation of the business concept. Step by step, you develop your business plan or create and optimize your business model canvas. BPW has divided this process in 3 competition phases, and in each phase we offer an extensive and thematically coordinated seminar or workshop program, which you can use for free of charge in order to improve your submission. And even more relevant, you improve your knowledge about important topics along your startup phase, right? As you can see here, you can also switch between the Canvas and the business plan from face to face. You can participate with more than one idea, Canvas or business plan. And you also can participate in both categories at the same time, if you want. So please feel free to do whatever suits you. The beauty of the business plan competition is that you will receive up to feedback from up to 6 jurors and can take advantage of hundreds of seminars and workshops and events for free. Honestly, in my opinion, this is priceless. If you do it right, you can get the full package of support, including free sessions with consultants. You can attend forums, network events, and also the award ceremonies. There are always a lot of opportunities to meet interesting people and have some good food and some drinks in nice locations. So, before we dive into the chapters and requirements of the business plan and the Canvas, let's briefly go over the evaluation scale. As you can see here, we have a German grading system from 1+, which means outstanding, to 6, and this is not so good or very poor, to be honest. In every stage of the competition, based on this evaluation scale, you will receive feedback from 2 different jurors. And the jurors are different. They have different view on your concept and different opinions. Because of that, their rating and their feedback could differ. We have an eye on that and double check the ratings in that case that the ratings differ too much. If this is the case, we have experienced judges or neutral third party who have to give their ratings too. We try hard to be as fair and impartial as possible. But if you think at one point your rating and feedback from the jurors wasn't fair, please don't hesitate to contact us. In this case, we will double check your feedback and ratings again. Our system usually works very well, and the participants accept the given feedback. And you will get the chance to speak to your jurors in person or via phone or email to discuss their statements on your concept in more detail. From my perspective, this is another great advantage of the business plan competition. You can get one-on-one feedback from your jurors. And at the end of the competition, when you have participated in all stages, you may have talked to 6 jurors in person, right? So let's start with the topic sustainability, which is important for both path and, of course, for your karma, right? Sustainability can influence the areas of finance, the environment, the society, and therefore plays an increasingly important role in startup success. Challenges involving sustainability can, for instance, include climate change, energy transition, educational inequality, or global poverty. Each of these topics demand entrepreneurial response and open up opportunities for your startup and green markets of the future. In order to effectively integrate aspects of sustainability in your business plan, you should familiarize yourself with opportunities for sustainable action and management. Describe how you integrate financial, environmental, and social aspects of sustainability in your business model. This can foster the success of your startup. In doing so, you should touch upon potential areas for sustainable activities and management in your business concept. We can see here 4 potential areas for sustainable business development: market, environment, workplace, community. And as you can see here, we give you some topics and ideas which in direction you can think. So develop an action plan based on these areas of activities affecting your business. This should show how you can benefit from the opportunities arising from sustainable management. Beside environmental, social, and/or community activities, this should also include measures for dealing with risk and maintaining the capacity of innovative over the long term. Furthermore, you should present the impact of sustainability on your marketing strategy. Because this is a very wide field, we offer various formats that inform you about the essential aspects of sustainability. As you can see on this slide, we want to highlight once again that there is going to be a special sustainable prize in the competition. So far, so good. That was quite a lot, right? But let's go on to the models themselves now. Okay, let's start with the canvas first. As I mentioned, you have to complete the full canvas in every cycle. This means that you have the canvas as a sort of front page and the descriptions for the 9 building blocks. The canvas model was invented by Alexander Osterwalder at ETH Zurich. In 2011, he wrote the book Business Model Generation, which contains the full model with a lot of examples how to use it. I would highly recommend this book. The canvas model with its 9 components clearly represent 4 basic business areas on one page: your product or service, your customers, your infrastructure, and finance. It allows you to be flexible when you develop a number of different business models. The canvas model is used not only by startups but also by many established companies as well. Let's come to the central building block of this model. This is the value proposition. Your product or service should solve a customer problem or satisfy customer needs, right? So this is the most important building block. I have to say it again. Product and services are sort of container which you then have to give value. This value proposition is the reason why customers decide whether or not to buy your product or service. Value is more than a product. It's something customers strive for and strongly desire. For example, Porsche. I'm sure you all know Porsche, right? Porsche doesn't sell cars. They sell status. You don't pay 100,000 euros for the engine, the brakes, the tires, the metal, right? You pay the money for having status. This is a value proposition. If your value proposition also offers a benefit for society, this increases the appeal and marketability. Customer segments. This puts the customer in the heart of the business model. Every business serves one or more customer segments. Porsche, for example, has a 45-year-old midlife crisis man for the Porsche 911, mothers in Prenzlauer Berg in Berlin for the Porsche Cayenne, for instance, and their teenage sons for the Porsche Boxer, right? So you should divide your different customer groups into different segments depending on their needs, behaviors, or characteristics. We have mass markets and niche markets, but what we don't have is a market everybody. You cannot say your customer group You cannot say that your customer covers everybody, because there will always be some people out there who are not interested in your product or service. So please think twice about how you can divide your potential customer group into smaller clusters and then provide real value for them. The goal is not to serve everybody. The goal is, at this stage, is to identify the first group of customers, the one that is easy for you to get to. We call them the low-hanging fruits. And later you can go for other segments and develop your business further, right? Okay. Now let's take a look at the customer relationship. You have customer relationship with each individual customer segment, right? Obtain clarity regarding the nature of your client's relationship. Do you want face-to-face contact with your customers or more distant relationships? This could be automated digital service like a FAQ site, like Amazon or some other web-based service. We have no personal or human contact before, during, after using the service, right? You have no personal human contact. On the other hand, we have business models with very personal customer relationship, like in consulting. In this case, the business partners know each other, and the business often is built on trust. It's up to you. Do your market research and learn how the market handles this topic, and then you can decide if you want to do it like the market or if you want to do this in your own way. Is everything fine? It's depending on your, or this depends on your strategy. Channels. When we think about channels, we have to think in two different levels. You must distinguish between communications and sales channels. For communication, describe how customers find out about your product or service. For instance, social media, a billboard, advertising, or word of mouth, or something like that. For the sales channels, think about how your product or service gets to your customer. For example, you can have your own store, an online shop, or sales force like Tupperware. For this topic, it's also necessary to know your market and your competitors and how they handle their channels. My advice here is to look at established companies and see how they do it, okay? Key activities. For the key activity component, you describe all significant activities your business must undertake in order for it to operate successfully. This includes developing the product or service, as well as communication, sales, and financial controlling. Our advice for you is to choose only those key activities that you enjoy doing. Ask yourself, what are you really good at? Okay? What do you like? And also, what do you hate? And then outsource the things you don't like. Okay? I would say that makes perfectly sense. For example, you can get a tax accountant who handles your taxes, right? You should also ask yourself, do you want to run the business by yourself? If the answer is no, co-founders or other team members, yeah, go out and look for them. When searching for team members, it's a good idea to look for people who have different skills compared to you, right? Being a founder, from my perspective, is a fulfilling career path, definitely. I founded 8 companies, but it can turn into a nightmare. If you do tasks you hate doing every single day, then it's a nightmare, right? So be honest with yourself and with your team members and take your time to think about this. This is absolutely crucial for your success with your team and your business. Once you have decided who does what in your company, you have to make a list of the key resources you will need to accomplish this task, right? Ask yourself, what are the key resources of your business model? Do you need employees? Maybe yes. Do you need machines, trucks, cars, computers to deliver your product or service, and so on? Please make a list and check this list twice. By answering the questions on this side, you can develop a clear picture of the resources you will need in order to fulfill your job in your business. Key partnerships come into the play for all activities that you want to outsource. For example, if you want to produce ice cream, you may need milk, right? But you don't own a cow, I would say. Or do you? I don't know. You also don't want to milk the cow. So a farmer can be a key partner who delivers your milk as a key ingredient or a key resource for you to create your product. Okay? Describe your supplier and partner network, which could have a very high impact on the success of your business. Various kinds of partnerships may arise. Partnerships, strategic partnerships, corporations, joint ventures, buyers, supplier relationships, and so on. You also have to think about the value you can provide for your potential partners, right? So ask yourself, why should they work with you? Do they have an advantage when they partner up with you? Very important questions. So please take care of these topics. So let's talk about numbers here. So everything in your business costs money, right? Your product, your service itself, key partners, key resources, employees, key activities. all these components are associated with cost, right? So describe what type of investment do you have to make in order to produce your product or deliver your service. Keep in mind, aiming for lower cost are more important for some business models than for others. If you decide to compete with supermarket Aldi, for example, low costs are critical, right? But if you are the business owner of Ferrari, maybe, you don't have to worry about cost too much, right? So that really depends. All earnings you draw from your customer segments are source of income. The key question is here, what amount is each individual customer segment willing to pay? Each source of income may have different source. You could ask for fixed prices for your product and services. You could have a subscription model, for instance, or a flat rate, or using fees, licenses, or maybe you have something like pay-per-use or something like that. Okay. The source of income may be transaction from one single customer contract, or on the other hand, this could be continually repeated payments, right? Additional revenue streams to balance your costs may include financing from family, fools, and friends, and also maybe from bank loans or subsidies. So, and finally, we have an overview over the Canvas model and detailed questions you have to answer. You can find this in the BPW Business Plan Competition Handbook and online. Print it out and get started now. What is super important here, I would say, you can only, and this is very important, you can only collect points from the jurors, if you answer all of these questions. I mean, every single of them. If you don't do that, you will already be ahead of everyone competing with you, because the most participants at the business plan competition don't answer all these questions, and then they lose points, right? Sometimes it's so easy. Okay, this tool works best when you put a big piece of paper on the wall and work with post-its stick onto each of the 9 building blocks. Try it out now with the first business idea you can think of, and you will see how fast you will become familiar with this tool. In just a couple of minutes, you can develop 3, 5, even 7 different models with the different target groups or different key resources and activities. Okay? The true value of this business model canvas is exactly this. You can, this is a tool to think in various directions without borders, right? Trial and error, you only have to buy a few post-its and bam, then you can start think in different directions. And absolutely sure, important, please make it fun, okay? Developing business models should be fun. After you have developed different canvases, you are ready to choose one of them and dive deeper into the business model. You can then start to come up with revenue, cost, and begin your market research. But first, try to develop a few business models, okay? So, yeah, that was the business model canvas, and we can come to the business plan. So, let's take a closer look at the business plan. Your business plan is not only your vision put down on paper, but the visual figurehead of your business. It should have its own integral logic and a clear storyline. It should be structured clearly and present the key information in detail. It should also offer a convincing degree of objectivity. The BPW can help you turn a good idea into a solid plan and make it easier for you to turn this plan into reality. The business plan is a different framework used to present a business model. In comparison to the canvas, it goes more into details and you have to create a proper 3-year financial plan in terms of strategy and numbers. Okay, as you can see here, you have to deliver more and more chapters from stage to stage, and it becomes more comprehensive along the way. On this slide, you can see the requirements for the business plan chapter by chapter. The red numbers show you how many pages are recommended for each chapter. And please try to stick to the given topics, requirements, and number of pages. Okay? You could and should add important documents to your business plan as an attachment. For example, your CVs, blueprints, letters of intent from potential business partners, maybe, or market research results. Yeah, this is all fine. But don't try to squeeze too much information into the given structure if it doesn't fit with the topic or stage. Don't do it, please. Okay? The jurors will appreciate that definitely. Okay. As you noticed, you also decide which language you want to use when you're writing the business plan or the canvas, also German or English. But please stick to the one language you have chosen and don't include a mix of them. Okay? A business plan is in some way like a job application. Jurors will highly appreciate it if you carefully choose your wording. That means no slang or jargon that only people in your field of expertise can understand, right? When you write your business plan, pretend that you would write it so that a 10-year-old child can understand it. That would be the best way. That should keep you on the safe side, I would say. So let's start with the first stage. Here you have to deliver the chapter summary, product, service, and founders. Overall, I would say not more than 6 to 3 pages. Okay, so summary. The summary is a key part of your business plan, as it creates a kind of first impression alongside the plan's visual appearance. The summary should spark the interest of the reader, who is usually your potential investor. It contains a brief outline of the key aspects of the business plan, just like an executive summary. It's often the only page of the business plan that is read. Put yourself into the shoes of a potential investor, and you will receive hundreds of business plans per year. Would you like to read all the business plans completely? Probably not, right? So you would screen the first page, and if you have a good impression, you will continue reading. If the summary page doesn't get your interest or leaves you confused, you will probably move on to the next business plan, right? And so is it. So please rest assured, at the business plan competition, we read all your pages, but we also want you to prepare for the real world out there, okay? So the core of each business plan is a clear and comprehensive description of your product or service and a clear and detailed presentation of the customer benefit of your product or service, right? So illustrate how your product or service is different from those which are already on offer on the market. Touch upon the development status and describe the next steps which need to be taken. Here you can see the important key questions you have to answer about a product or service, which we have already talked about in the Canvas model. Maybe you remember. Okay. Here are additional questions you have to answer in this chapter. A few words about the development status. Usually, the projects we work with are in their development stage. It's not necessary to have a complete and well-tested prototype or a product which is ready to enter the market. It's okay to have only a rough first prototype and an idea how you can get to the next level of development. Okay, so please don't think that you have to have more than what you have right now. Okay, so every stage is or every stage of development is totally fine. Yeah, team. Let's talk. Let's take a look and talk about the founders. Your team is key here, absolutely. The success of a business often lives and dies with the personalities and the skills of its founders, right? So, as an entrepreneur, you have to implement and drive your project. There may be one or several founders. In this section, you demonstrate that you are capable of building a successful business. It therefore also concerns your management qualities. You should be responsible. Who is responsible for what and why? And is he or she a good fit for this specific position? These are the questions you have to answer. Do you have complementary skills? Are all the key activities required covered by your team members? So, if this is not the case, create job profiles for the most important areas of your business and present the skills and experiences required in detail. Compare this with the skills you and the other founders contribute as a team. If you find gaps, you should explain how and when you would like to fill this, okay? And please, 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 please talk about the important stuff. Money, vision, why you want to do this together. Create a contract which every single team member has to sign, because you want to make sure that everyone is clear on what happens in the event that you guys get into a fight, okay? Hopefully this won't happen, but if it does, you are prepared. This task is absolutely necessary and so often overlooked. If you found a start with family or friends as your team members, it's even more important. If you want to continue to be friends in the future, okay? So now you're ready to submit your application. Please keep in mind the submission deadline, which you can find on our homepage. But please check your plan twice and give it someone else to read. Maybe you can get some helpful feedback from your friends to improve parts of it, right? Okay, very important. So now, after you have received the feedback from the jurors for the first stage, you can easily rethink and rewrite the first chapters and continue with stage 2. Here, you have to add a proper market analysis and a creative and solid marketing plan, right? So, but please don't deliver more than 10 to 25 pages in this stage. The jurors will appreciate that, okay? It's not about writing as much as you can. It's more about how concise you can describe your project, okay? So, and now let's take a look at the details of this chapter. Market analysis. Yeah? Demonstrating a good knowledge of the market and your competitors is crucial for the success of your business. As previously described, the product and service section, the customer will only buy your product or service if they expect it to offer them a special benefit. Okay, that makes sense, I would say. So, since you're usually not the only player on a given market, right? Your specific customer benefit always depends on what your competitors have to offer too, right? So, market analysis helps you to estimate the market potential for your business and determine where and how you wish to position your company on the market. Ask yourself what service could be, or what products or service could be used to replace your offer. It's important to ask yourself from the perspective of the customer. Okay, very, very, very important. Once you have defined these substitute goods, you're on a good track to define your market. Defining your market, right? So describe the size, the sales, turnover, the expected growth, and other trends of the overall market, okay? You should also investigate external factors which may change the overall market or industry, including competitors in the medium term, and highlight the relevance for these factors of your business. This also includes political and legal structure, as well as economic or socio-demographic and also technological developments, something like that. Try to get a whole picture, okay? Dividing the market into segments also allows you to adjust the product or service you offer to your customers in a focused and efficient way. You're free to choose this segmentation criteria, okay? So finally, you have to investigate the key competitors who currently offer comparable products or services in the market segments that are relevant to you, right? So you also have to keep in mind the other competitors who could offer similar products or services in the future. Create strength and weaknesses profiles of your key competitors and your own company. If you present this in a table, you can give the reader, or in this case the juror, a clear and rapid overview of the strengths and weaknesses of your product or service compared to the competition. That makes sense, right? So, a proper market analysis is the base for a solid marketing strategy. So please handle this with care and take your time for the investigations. Marketing. When it comes to marketing, you have two options. You can put the customer at the center of your business model or your product. In the first case, you are acting according to the classic marketing principles. However, marketing is much more than just advertising, right? Marketing is the focus of the entire business on the customer. The marketing plan is therefore a core aspect of your business plan. The following elements are part of a complete marketing concept, or maybe you know it under the 4 Ps or marketing mix. This is product, price, promotion or communication, and sales. Okay? These must be consistent to each other. That makes sense, I would say. When you think about your product, you have to answer the following 2 questions. Would you like to offer one single product or several products or services to satisfy your customer needs? That's number 1. And number 2, will you offer different forms of your products or services for different target groups? Okay? And pricing is primarily based on the issue of customers' willingness to pay, right? This means which price will be accepted on the market. The price you can attain, therefore, entirely depends on how much the benefit of your product or service is worth to the customer. In the product or service chapter of your business plan, you have to describe your customer benefit and may have already quantified it. When setting prices, please remember to keep your own production cost in mind. Okay, and please keep also in mind, in general, being cheap is not the one and only strategy. Okay, so communication. Let's move on to the communications policy. Okay, a customer can only purchase a product if they know that it exists and are familiar with it, right? So Henry Ford said, "For every dollar I spend for the developing of my cars, I spend a second dollar to advertise them." Okay, that is, from my perspective, a very good approach. In your communication policy, you should therefore describe a plan on how you can reach your customers, like traditional advertising in the usual media, press, radio, television, cinema, and online, for instance. So you have also direct marketing tools, direct mailings, selected clients, telephone marketing, and online as well. Or customer visits, or social media, or new media, and so on. So last but not least, we have the sales policy. Okay, here you have to determine which sales channels you wish to use to sell your product or service. This means how your product or service gets to your customers. The choice between direct and indirect sales channels depends on the type of product, the client, the structure, and the selected price strategy. Okay, you must decide whether you will sell your product yourself or your service, or involve specialist service provider for that. We have covered this, the details on this when I introduced you to the customer relationship and channels building blocks in the Canvas model. Yeah, so maybe you can remember that. So yeah, and that's it for stage 2. Now you can submit a business plan and wait for the next feedback from the Euros. So quite simple, right? Finally, we have arrived at stage 3. And now we have the opportunity to rethink your business plan once again and deliver the whole business plan, including everything, right? So please, please not more than 38 pages max. Yeah, you can see it here. What you have to add in this third stage are 2 more chapters: the business organization and the financial plan. Okay, so every startup is born from an idea, a solution to a problem, or even a specific product. When you decide to start a business, you soon need to tackle the question of who is going to do what, right? So 2 key questions for the chapter organizations are, which functions do you need in your organization and how are these structured? This is the first. And the second, what key roles do you need in your company? Okay. By answering these 2 questions, you can describe your organization and your management system in detail for the readers, or the jurors in this case. It may be helpful for you to visualize this by developing an organizational chart. Yeah, this could be extremely helpful to understand it. In addition, you have to make some decisions regarding your legal form, business management, and ownership structure. First of all, you should state the legal form you have chosen for your business. Who are the shareholders and who assumes executive management responsibility? Which location factors are important in your business? Because you want to participate in the Business Plan Berlin competition Berlin-Brandenburg, I would highly recommend that you locate your company in Berlin or in Brandenburg, right? So, okay. For many businesses, particularly in retail and chain operation, the choice of location is extremely important, right? So for other, low rental costs are more important, for instance. Consider carefully which location factors are relevant for your business. Okay, in our case, it's clear we have to found here in Berlin or Brandenburg. And we need a milestone plan as well, right? So investors and the jurors want you to tell them how exactly you plan to develop your business and make it a reality. List your medium and long-term objectives clearly and define milestones for your company's development. Yeah, and in addition, you have to make some decisions on your financial plan, right? So let me go to the next slide. We are here at, yeah, okay, perfect. The last chapter covers the financial plan and the financing stuff. So what you want to do here is to turn all your previous statements into financial figures, right? The purpose of this chapter is to provide an overview of the business, future finance, the income, the assets, and all this stuff. So writing this chapter can also help you to find out whether your business plan is viable and how it can be financed, right? So you should outline the most important core assumptions from the financial plan, which may include expected profit or loss in the first years. This could be with a profit and loss statement, of course. The break-even analysis, when will earnings cover or exceed expenditures, for instance, amount of capital requirements, planned financing, and don't forget to outline the assumptions you have made when estimating income, expenditures, investments, etc. Okay? So, yeah, that's it more or less. The good news first, we have more webinars in our pipeline for you, and one about the Canvas model in more detail, and 3 more about the business plan that provide more details on each of the 3 stages, right? So, and I hope you enjoyed our brief overview, and now we have here some questions. So, first question is, in a business plan, it's better to write my long-term views. For example, I want to run a business in Berlin, but after, what should potential client segmentation be? Okay, I'm not 100% sure if I get this question right. So a business plan definitely contains short, medium, and long-term views. So this is one of the key differences between a Canvas model and a business plan, right? A Canvas model is more for one point, yeah, and the business plan contains a wider view. This could also be, and it really depends on the products and services. This could be when you develop, for instance, a medical thing, then you have to write a business plan over the next 10 years, right? So, and you have to make it very clear, step by step, what you want to do when, and do you need extra money for research and development and something like that. So, I hope I answer the question more or less. What should my potential client segmentation be? Yeah, I could answer this question in general. Could not answer this question in general. It really depends on the market. What we say, or what I would recommend, is that you don't start to, or you should not start to try to solve the problems for everybody out there. So maybe your product or service has the potential to do that, but we have not enough resources to serve the whole market and all segments. We have to start with one segment, right? And as I mentioned, we call them the low-hanging fruits. So that you look in the market and ask yourself, which of the segments I can serve first and get money. Yeah, the first goal when you start a business is to get a customer, right? And then when you do your job good with this customer, you can move on to the other customer segments. I hope this answer is more or less acceptable. Okay. Should I write in a financial plan different scenarios or only a good one? Okay, very good question. Usually you make 2 to 3 different scenarios, one normal case and one worst case. So normal case means when you look in the market and when everything goes in the right direction as you want it, then yeah, this is the normal case exploration. And then usually the things are a little bit different. Theory and writing a business plan and theory and doing a business in practice are two pair of shoes, right? So, and the worst case scenario covers all these things. Okay, so what is when something went wrong, and so on and so on. So because of that, when you have your financial plan, you always have to put, when you're ready with your financial plan, and let us say you need 200,000 euros for the next 3 years, then you would put a shit happens extra on top, 10%, something like that. Okay, so yeah, please, two different scenarios, normal case and worst case. Okay, so next question. Can I also handle in all chapters of the business plan in the first stage? Please, no. Nine? No. No, 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 no. Please only submit at any stage what is required. Okay, so it's fine when you have your business plan ready, but then please you have to wait till the third stage. You can send or submit then the required chapters, receive feedback. This is the process. Okay, yeah, this is how it works. So please, no complete business plan at the first or second stage. Do it step by step. And yeah, maybe you have an advantage because you have all your business plan. And yeah, more questions? No? Okay. I hope you enjoyed our brief overview over the two paths covering the business plan and business model canvas. To recap, the canvas model is a very hands-on tool with which you can quickly and flexibly create different business models. Here you stay a bit more at the surface. In contrast, the business plan includes many more details and goes into more depth. The latter is more relevant if you actually need financial resources from players such like banks and investors in Germany. This is a special German thing, I would say. And yeah, then I would say I wish you good luck. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact our business plan competition team. And yeah, then I thank you for listening and have a good one. And maybe we can see us at our next webinar about the business plan stage 1, 2, 3 thing. Okay, we're good. Thank you.